That a little later in the show, we're also going to be focusing on what's going on Capitol Hill right now, these Volkswagen hearings. The problem right now is they're talking to the USA chief. They're not talking to the real big enchilada, the chairman of the overall company. But nevertheless, what he's trying to tell them is we're staying on top of this problem. We are trying to get ahead of it. But Michael Horn has already indicated that any diesel vehicles that would be coming to the U.S., they're holding off for the time being. Keep in mind that a lot of these rigged emission software issues came up on the diesel-powered vehicles. But right now, he is being chastised by many on both sides of the aisle for letting the American people down and hoodwinking consumers. This has happened before to Congressman Joe Barton on whether it's happening again. Now, Congressman, he is the new guy put in charge, but he is and has been with the company for the better part of 25 years now. So he obviously bears some responsibility here. Did you get any sense that he was holding back or covering up anything?
Well, obviously, he's very well coached. You don't come before an oversight investigative committee of the Congress without being fully lawyered up, so to speak. Yeah. He does admit his company is culpable. He is not sure when the higher-ups above him over in Germany knew what was happening. But the problem is that this was a knowingly and willful violation of U.S. environmental law by an international company that should know better. This was not an inadvertent accident, an unforeseen circumstance. This was a conscious decision by engineers in that company to evade U.S. emissions tests, and that's flat wrong.
Now, is it your sense that it obviously went beyond just the engineers who rigged this software so that it would give a different reading on the emissions coming from each vehicle, 11 million in total, I guess. But that could not possibly stop at a mid-engineer level, right? I mean, it had to go higher up, at least to a division head. Have you guys gleaned any sense of chain of command how high this went up, or too early to tell?
Well, that was my question to the North American head of Volkswagen, and he had to say that his company was still investigating, that he did not know. And I said, "No, you're under oath, sir." And he said, "I understand that, but that's something that we'll eventually get to the bottom of." And quite frankly, I think there'll be some severe penalties because it was knowing and willful. And that's, again, as I've just said, that's wrong.
All right, real quickly, when you talk about severe penalties, separately there are a whole host of criminal suits they're building where lawyers are going to make the argument people died as a result of this or exposed to emissions or noxious gases from these cars. To me, that seems like an early stretch, but have you heard any talk like that lives were lost as a result of this?
No, I have not. And again, they violated emission standards in the United States. You can debate whether those standards are where they should be, but they are the standards and they should be obeyed. This company didn't obey the law. They knew they weren't obeying the law. There should be a severe economic penalty, a market penalty. I am not aware of anybody claiming loss of life, though, because of these violation of the emissions. And the violation was during the test. The on-road performance, not what it should be, but given the number of automobiles on the road here in the United States, I think, as you pointed out, it would be a stretch to say somebody lost their life. Somebody could have suffered, if there was a leak into the vehicle or something, they certainly could have suffered some health consequences because of it, though. I think that's
well, we'll never know. I mean, I think these lawyers were talking in terms of people who were exposed to passing Volkswagen vehicles, which to me seemed like a stretch, but again, I'm no environmental expert.
We need to obey our laws.
Yeah,
and that's the issue.
What the core of this is.
There's an engineering issue, obviously, but there is the moral issue that they knew the law, they violated the law, and they did it apparently for 7 years.
Okay.
That cannot go unchallenged and unpunished.
All right, Congressman, thank you very much. Again,